Hey y'all, it's been a while since I've done a video, so figured I'd just go ahead and do a video on all my tanks and make it a long one. So I'll go ahead and dim some lights real quick here so there's not too much glare. 1 second. Okay guys, let's start with the 225. We'll just kind of work our way from big tanks to little tanks. Spend a little more time on the big tanks just because I've done a little more with them. All the little tanks are mostly just fry tanks. So 225 is looking good. I put an angelfish pair in here just because I need to get a little room, and they're actually doing really well for this tank, I think, because the discus are coming out a lot more, and they seem to be much more comfortable. But as they're hiding right now, but they're coming out right now. So yeah, these are my blue diamond discus. What I also did though is I added some red turquoise discus, which are hiding right now, but the big blue diamonds are looking really good. And then the red tail Hemiotis here are looking good, and on some of them you can kind of see their top fin. They're getting a little red and black. I didn't realize that they would get a little color on the top fin as well. It's fainter, of course, but they look really good. And they're schooling with the rummy nose tetras really well, acting as a good dither fish. So, and then I got my green phantom plecos. I still have all 6. They're only about 3.5, maybe 4 inches. They still need to get, I don't know, 5 to 6 inches before I think they'll start breeding. So, haven't seen any signs there. And I did add here in the back, I got some gold rams that I picked up because I just couldn't help it because they're just so pretty. On the left is a female, and then the other one's a male, and he's got a high fin, and they looked really good, and I just couldn't pass up on them. They were a good deal. As you can see, I have 3. I actually have 2 males and a female, so we'll see how that works out. Hopefully I get a pair to come out. And yeah, so here's one of the red turquoise. He's still really young, only about 2.5 inches, maybe 3, but he's starting to get some color. As you can see, I got 4 of them, so in total now I have 4 red turquoise and 5 blue diamonds, and they seem to be doing well. I think they like the bigger school, and they like the angelfish in there too. So I'll probably kind of try and leave this alone. As you can see, they're much more, they're I don't know, they're much happier fish, I think, with a bigger school. So definitely, if you're going to do discus, you want to get a bunch. You kind of see the colors just popping right there. It looks really good. And the angels are coming right over. And this is a really big angel. I mean, they don't have like super small hands, and he's a big guy. So that's what's going on in the 225. We'll run over here and check out the 125, and I've also changed stuff up a little bit here. I went ahead and took out all of the white calvus, and I also took out the caudabencatus, because I moved in here those guys, the firefin compressiceps. And the reason I did that is because I got 3 large ones like that, which I believe are males, and I picked up 2 younger ones that I think are females, and they're still in here. There's one coming out right here. Forgive me, the glass is not the cleanest, but yeah, I'm hoping that this is one of my this will be a female for me. I have another one in here too, and I put them in the 125 because they're pretty fish, and I really want to see them start breeding. My white calvus weren't breeding. I lost all my males, so I'm growing them out from scratch again, and trying to get them breeding again. I also added all of the young Parasiprochromis fry. You can see a couple in this picture. That's with my adult female, and then I have 1 adult male left. They kind of went through little issues. I had issues in this tank where I lost some fish, but I got a lot of young fry. I probably got 6 or 7 young Parasiprochromis fries, so I'm hoping those guys grow out. And then the last thing I have in here is this goby cichlid. I don't know exactly the name. I'll put it in the comments or in the description of the video, but I've got 2 of them in here, and I'm hoping they'll start breeding. The female's actually in this cave, and then the male's over there. The male is larger, so I'm kind of hoping, there he is that these guys will start breeding for me, because it'll be really cool to see it. As I've read online, they do they mouth brood, but they do kind of bi-parent mouth brooding, where the female will hold for like, I don't know, 10 days, and then the male will hold for 10 days. So it's really cool. I think I do have a pair, because they're pretty aggressive fish, and I've seen it myself. He actually killed 2 other, maybe 3 other gobies, and then she killed 1 other one. So, and they've been in this tank together for I don't know how long, probably a month or 2 now. And so I'm just kind of waiting. I think she might need to get a little bigger until she starts breeding, but I'm really hoping that this guy, because that's a pretty fish too right there, starts breeding. I've got 3 big males, I think, and 2 young females. So that's what I'm hoping for on those guys. Sadly nothing in this 125 is breeding right now, but they got a lot of room. I moved out a lot of stuff just to kind of give them more room. I hope this Parasiprochromis colony gets bigger, and they'll start breeding. And then real quick, I got the 75 gallon. Not a lot of breeding here. I'm kind of using this as a grow out. I put my red velvet swordtails that I had grown out from babies, and it actually takes quite a long time for them to get their swordtail. I thought I had a bunch of females, but it turns out I got like 3 males in here now. I got 3 males and 6 females, which is a pretty good ratio actually. And they are breeding actively. It's just kind of hard to get them all out of here, so I just leave it alone. And then I got a bunch of angelfish fry, as you can kind of see in here. I got everything. I got blacks, I got some golds, and then I got some marbles in here too. And these are my biggest batch. I actually just sold 10 of them today, and they're looking good. I got some Siamese algae eaters in here, and some other, and the longfin albino bristlenose, which is actually really interesting too, because my main male that breeds all the time is right here, but I got a new young male right here that's starting to grow up. I think this is a young female, but that's a young male. You can kind of see his bristles now. They're still pretty small because he's kind of young, but that's what's really good is I'm hoping to get 2 males breeding here and start going like that. So that'll be pretty exciting if I can get that to work out. So that's what I got going on in the 75, and we'll kind of move on and look at some of the other tanks real quick. Let me move some lights around. Okay, this is a 30 gallon on top. Not a pretty tank at all. I don't clean the glass very often. This is just going to grow out tank, so I apologize for how dirty it looks, but I got some young Cados, young Calvus, and young Leleupi just growing out in here. So not much to talk on that one. They're just growing out, trying to get them to be sellable size. So this is the 55 gallon, and I've done some changing in here. This is where the fire fin compressiceps were. I moved the white Calvus in here. That's one of my original females, but I've also put a bunch of young ones in here as well. I also moved some Leleupi. Not sure if I showed that before. I got 5 Leleupi in here, hoping to get another pair, since my old pair, the female died on me, and I went ahead and just sold the male and tried to get a new pair. I also have some Similis in here that weren't breeding in the 20 gallon long, so hopefully these guys will start breeding in here. There's a little more room for them. But what is also cool is putting the Leleupi in here. They're big enough that they started breeding. So I have a pair. I saw actually just this morning that my Leleupi female right here is guarding wigglers. So that's pretty exciting and pretty cool. Show you the size of them. That's probably a similar size of the female, which I'd say that's a 3-inch fish probably. That's another one. The male's a little bigger, and they're both hiding. He's in this cave and the female's in that cave, but they do have wigglers in there. These are some of the young Calvus that I've kind of put in here. Hopefully they'll grow out and start breeding for me as well. So it looks like the tank conditions are good enough in here. I just got to get them big enough to breed. I do plan to move these Leleupi into the 125 just to give them a little more room, and hopefully maybe these other Leleupi will pair off one of these other three, and I'll have two pairs, because that wouldn't be the end of the world to have a backup pair, just because I've kind of found that out lately. My caudus, I didn't have a backup pair. I just got one and then they died, and it's been kind of back and forth on this, and I kind of want to have some spares next time because I got a little drought in my supply chain, but I still have quite a few in my inventory, as you'll kind of see. So that's kind of what's going on in this tank, and kind of quickly take you through some of the other ones. Alright, this is the 20-gallon long. I have my male Similis and my female, and then I got my rock fighter still, and I got another female and male. As if you kind of look around in here, there's some young ones in here still growing out. So that's good. I added a lot more shells in here just to kind of help them spread out and hopefully get more breeding going on. As I said, I kind of moved out any of the ones that got fully rejected. For some reason, there's a couple, as they get bigger, they'll reject. Even some of the smaller ones, they kind of rejected faster. Not sure if they're young males or kind of what the deal is, but that tank's doing well. This is a 10-gallon. It's got some young angelfish fry in here, so they're still growing out. I think these guys are about 3 weeks old, and they're looking good. They don't really have any color. They don't really look like angelfish yet at all, but these are angelfish. That's a couple pairs too of angelfish. You can't really see how many are in there, but this is my last caudus batch that I got before my female passed away on me. So, but I got a lot. They look good. They look really good, and they're growing out well. This is some more angelfish fry. Since I've been kind of slow on cichlids, Tanganyikan cichlids, African cichlids, I went ahead and got pretty aggressive with angelfish. So this has, I think, 3 batches of angelfish fry, and there are quite a lot in here. You can't quite see all of them, but this was a good batch. I had a pretty good high survival rate, so that looks good. This tank is some older caudus. These are about a month, maybe 2 months old, and I do have one large Similis that I put in here that got kicked out, so that's what's going on in there. I'll probably move these guys out soon to another tank and put the young Leleupi in there, which is pretty exciting. I haven't had Leleupi fry in a while, so I'm pretty excited about that. And then here is some angelfish fry, and this is a lot of them too. Again, this is just 2 spawns where the other 2 tanks had 3 spawns, so I'm kind of hoping these guys all survive. There probably will still be maybe 5% to 5 to 10% losses, just because I kind of missed some feeding sometimes, and I suffer a little bit. And then this is a 20-gallon, and this has a bunch of longfin albino bristlenose fry, and they're feeding on an algae wafer right now. And I'm really excited about this because the last 3 spawns I've had have not survived. This is one of the lone survivors that survived my massacre, and what I feel like was happening, what I kind of learned. For some reason, I had it in my mind that if I gave them a little brine shrimp or bloodworms every once in a while, it'd be good for them. And and also the reason that was happening was because I had angelfish in this tank, and it wasn't working. When they're so little, I feel like any of those proteins does not go well when they digest them. When they're bigger, it's not a big deal. But when they're young, you can't do that. So I've just been feeding them algae wafers and zucchini, and not water changing them too hard either. And they seem to be doing a lot better. Pretty high survival rate on this batch, so really excited about that. I'd say these ones are about 3 weeks old, and this guy is probably a month older than them, so you know, what, 7 weeks or something like that. So yeah, and then real quick, If you can see these guys, these are some of my angelfish pairs. This is a pretty fish. It's got both double whites. On the bottom it's a marble. This is my male, and then this is my female, and then this is another female and a male. They've been both breeding pretty regularly on their cones every 10 days about, and the last pair is in that 225 in the background. So it's been good. I've been spinning out a lot of angelfish fry. I'll show you a couple more fry tanks with angelfish, and I'll show you where their cone is sitting in my little egg incubator. So yeah, let me switch over to that and we're almost done. Alright, this is the 36-gallon bow front tank. It's a little murky. Some of the tanks are murky. I just did water changes on a bunch of them. So this still had, this is where I put all the caudipin that I had. So now there are currently 4 caudipin in here. I know 2 are a male and a female, the adults, and they kind of seem like they're starting to pair off. I got my female Julitochromis marleri in here, and they've been breeding. I pulled out just recently this morning some of their fry, so there's not a lot of fish in here, to be honest, which is a good thing in my opinion. So I'm hoping, and there's the male kind of sitting back there, but I'm hoping these caudipin start breeding for me again, and I'll definitely keep some spares. That's what I got to do a better job of. I've kind of found is I've had some issues with not having some pairs, but I got plenty of young fries, so I don't think that's an issue. It's just a matter of getting these ones up to adult size and breeding again. But the Julitochromis have been breeding pretty regularly in here, so I know there's a couple young fry in here. I can't seem to find them right now, but that's about it. And then I got a 20-gallon here. Let's see if I can move the light over a little bit better. There we go. This just has a bunch of angelfish in it as well. These guys are a little bit smaller than the ones in the 75-gallon. But as you can see, it's kind of getting marbles, golds, and blacks. That's what I seem to get whenever I finally get them all raised up. So they look good. This tank has some even younger angelfish fry, and these guys are looking pretty good. These ones look mostly like they're going to be black and marbles maybe. So, and then lastly, I got a spare 20-gallon tank. This is a brand new tank. Picked it up today, which was probably not the greatest idea to get more tanks, but I did it because I'm starting to run out of room with all these angelfish, and the Leleupi are starting to spawning in, and I think I'm doing good. And the good thing is too, one of the people I know here in Colorado just opened up a new fish store. So it's called Aquatic Kingdom Aquariums, and he's pretty excited to take some fish. So I actually took him a bunch of fish today, so I'm pretty excited. So I'm expanding just one tank for now to get a little more room, and then real quick, I promised, you can see this is where I have some eggs. You can kind of see on the cone on the top there, right there, the angelfish eggs are in here. They're in blue methyl water in my 2.5-gallon tank, and there's some white eggs. Those ones aren't fertilized, but leave them in here, get them wiggler stage, and then I'll move them into a 10-gallon or 5-gallon. And then this is really my last tank that I got. This has a 55-gallon. This is my grow out and my final tank. As you can see, I have no shortage of Leleupi still. The only fish in here currently are Leleupi and caudipin. You can see some of them in here. These are some of the bigger ones that I'm selling as well. So no shortage here. So yeah, the way I kind of work it is this 55-gallon is my production cell tank for African cichlids, and then over there in that 75-gallon is where I'm selling angelfish out of right now. So that's what I got going on. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. It was a long video, but I hope it's worth it and you learned something. And if you have any questions, let me know. I'll try and answer them. Thank you.